It's time, once again, for the Oscars, honoring the medium America's lost interest in, with a show Americans couldn't care less about. So before cinemas are forced to run Birth of a Nation on loop by executive order, here are the 10 nominees for this year's Best Picture. Adrien Brody stars as Laszlo Toth, who survived the Holocaust and opioid addiction.
It is for my injury.
But having a snooty boss might just be the thing that breaks him.
Perhaps you can help your husband sound less like he shined shoes for a wage.
Laszlo's got a dream to build some kind of YMCA/federal office building with no actual purpose.
If there were an auditorium, and what do you think about a gymnasium?
Perhaps a swimming pool.
I can't swim.
In this cinematic monument to the value of perseverance, handies,
my love, I cannot bear it anymore.
And making your runtime so long, people just assume you had something important to say. So if you watch just one epic-length passion project about a damaged but brilliant architect struggling with addiction, who's locked in a battle of wills against the wealthiest man in town over a confusing utopian project, make it The Brutalist. Though it's weird there were 2 choices this year, right?
So go back to the club.
Bauhaus Down. Witness the first time in history I Think the Stripper Loves Me has actually been true, and thrill as Anora becomes the latest American to fall for Russian disinformation. Her fiancé is Vanya, a rich little twerp who's all about the Benjamins and his Benjamin. But when his parents send Harry, Surly, and Mole over to undo the marriage, the film turns into YA rom-com Uncut Gems. Featuring all the excitement of trying to find your drunk friend who wandered off.
Ребят, пацана этого не видели сегодня? Посмотри, пацана этого не видел сегодня.
Он оставил мне счет $800. Maybe he'll be at an arcade or something, I don't know.
And more English-Russian screaming than a fire at the Piroshki factory.
No!
So whether you're a poor sex worker, the child of a poor sex worker, or a poor ex-sex worker grooming a new sex worker, enjoy our newest annual tradition where Sean Baker makes a voyeuristic awards bait movie about how f***ed up your life is.
Tush.
Pity Woman. The movie Pope is dead, and to choose his successor, there must be an absolute smockdown known as a conclave, where all the new popefuls are locked in without any choir boys to distract them, triggering a no-holds-barred pope-off of biblical pope portions until they agree on the next Pokemon. Ralph Fiennes stars as a high-ranking authority in a secretive cult again. And he's tasked with finding the pure of heart amongst these liars, thieves, and adult vape users.
I thought we were here to serve God.
Don't be naive.
Just like Rave, whoever is running their Oscar campaign will have to subtly expose the dirt of the other contestants, uncover their lies, and cast doubt on their treatment of women, all to ensure that their preferred candidate secures the prize. Okay, this is taking things too far. New Pope, who dis? Experience this moving Brazilian film starring the incredible Fernanda Torres, an irrelevant story about living through a fascist takeover. But since it's impossible to watch in the US outside of a few art house theaters, you're just seeing clips of the Joaquin Phoenix movie with the same title, where he tries to become a rapper. Look, no one expects you to see all of these, but it sucks that the best film of the year is unwatchable for half the country.
I feel real, I won't kneel. Blessings God, my team know how I feel.
Wow, Joaquin really didn't learn from this one, did he?
For once in my life, I got someone.
I'm Still Not Here. From dad movie icon James Mangold and legendary recording artist Timmy Tim.
Feel good music, I'm bringing it back. What's wrong with that kid? Does he think that he's black?
Comes the theoretically mostly true story about the timeless struggle between being really good at something
The answer is blowing in the wind.
and being a massive dick to everyone else.
You want me playing the old ones?
All right, let's just cut the crap, Bob.
It's not a request type concert.
What?
I'm not gonna. They should just off and let me be.
as this sick man takes advantage of Norton's utilities
A good song, really good song. It can get the job done without the frills.
while pushing away girlfriends,
Maybe just don't come back at all.
collaborators,
You're acting like a jerk.
and fans.
Get off the stage!
Until the most lasting part of his legacy is having a kid who wrote the One Headlight song in the 90s and another kid who directed How High.
But you gotta understand that people can only see me when they smoke me.
Now that's a piece of American culture.
It's the Liberty Ball. Like that, smoke that, has that.
Bob's Bangers. Dive into part 2 of the often confusing sci-fi fantasy. Though if you've ever been to Burning Man, you'll be plenty familiar with a white guy getting high in the desert and declaring himself God. Young Bob Dylan shines as psychic boys medium Paul Atreides, who, after his press tour, has a real shot at uniting all humanity.
I'm going Jackson State, 8 wins in a row, 11 all-conference players. It should be a comfortable, easy win for them.
You sound okay?
Now, Paul must convince Zendaya to stay with him while he pulls a reverse challengers,
I'll take the hand of your daughter.
defeat the offspring of Elvis and Lord Frieza, and learn to ride giant worms they worship as gods. Which is a weird dynamic, right? You wouldn't ride Jesus around like Daniel Radcliffe in Swiss Army Man. The Emperor's New Dune. You've seen the all-time classic, The Wizard of Oz, one of the most beloved films ever made. Well, forget it, because it's all propaganda bullshit. How could you believe that garbage, idiot?
Is it true you were her friend?
Ship the whole family off to Oswart School for Witchcraft and Wizardry for an upbeat adventure about how this merry old land is actually a brutal apartheid state.
One benefit of caging an animal this young is that in all likelihood, he'll never learn to speak.
Constructed entirely on lies and deception.
Casting a spell with the Grimory? That's a mighty tall order. I should know.
And ruled by a duplicitous autocrat.
You have no real power.
Watch as director John M. Chu brings your favorite locations to stunning life, from the Emerald City to Munchkin Land to Burbank, California's third largest green screen warehouse. In this half of a movie before everything gets even more disturbing in part 2. Don't worry, we'll have finished our parody songs for the part 1 honest trailer by then. But who knows if we'll ever think up anything more funny than the press tour.
That's really powerful.
A broom of one's own. From acclaimed not Mexican director Jacques Audiard and a star-studded lineup of not Mexican actors comes a Crunchwrap Supreme level of authenticity towards Mexican culture with a side of LGBT narco-terrorist comedy drama nacho fries that made actual Mexicans angrier than putting peas in guacamole. And sure, the idea of a kind-hearted cartel boss is probably upsetting to Mexicans. And some cast members may have quit Spanish after Donde está la biblioteca. And the songs might trigger the cringe singularity.
You know, I only fix the body, skin, bones, but I will never fix the soul.
Man to woman.
From penis to vagina.
And the lead actress posed like she's about to buy Twitter. But how else was Hollywood supposed to recognize trans filmmaking this year? An allegory? A parody? A documentary? No. These are the voters who gave Crash Best Picture. You gotta give the queerness to them straight. Sicario. In a world where award shows always overlook horror films, even when they feature Oscar-worthy performances, strap in for a close look at women's horrific beauty standards.
Great dancer. Too bad her boobs aren't in the middle of her face instead of that nose.
And a dire warning to anyone who doesn't follow the exact instructions on their Ozempic bottle. In a story featuring the most unrealistically beautiful old woman, violently transforming into a genetically blessed Nepo baby, until everything starts to look like the third act of Akira by the end. And yet, the grossest part of the whole film is Dennis Quaid eating shrimp. A Star is Torn. You've read about the civil rights movement. You've seen the old footage. Now, imagine how bad it would feel if discrimination happened to the only person in the universe that matters, you.
I don't see that personally.
In a heartbreaking GoPro video about good kids caught in a brutal, corrupt system that once may have made white Americans feel superior to their racist ancestors, but now makes them quietly look down at the floor while America cartwheels back to the Jim Crow era. And this first-person shooter could really use a gun once in a while. POC, POV, 4K HD. Starring this year's hottest Oscar trends, body transformations.
Open the door, Sue, come on.
Drugs.
Greedy over here.
Ridicule.
Green on top, someone running down, everyone can smell it.
The monster!
Eager means hunchback weirdo, you piece of
Your face is ugly.
I know it is.
Being nice to the help.
I want you to understand that, first of all, you are not in any kind of trouble.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Thank you, Mrs. Hardy.
Клар, может, хочешь пафнуть?
Извините, Иван, не сегодня.
Being mean to the help.
It is a goddamn surprise, only to discover a strange Negro man roaming around our property.
Do I look like the last guy?
No, you look like a bona fide
Misogyny.
As much as we all dream of having a little birdie that keeps her trap shut.
Pretty girls should always smile.
Let's not mention women.
Kidnappings.
El conductor fue asesinado, la señora Pérez fue secuestrada.
Cadê meu marido?
Да, ну зачем ее завязывать-то? Блядь, она хуйнула в меня подсвечником. Давай ноги свяжем.
Come on, goats.
Broken noses.
My friend is in there, please.
Oh, my nose.
You broke my nose.
Yeah, next time I'll kick you in the balls.
Breakups.
So we're getting a divorce. You.
Of course. Are you stupid?
It's my guitar.
Mass graves.
They found more graves.
Dime cuántos desaparecidos hay en el país.
Decenas de miles.
The Van Buren Institute outside of Philadelphia with precisely the same dimensions as his own place of imprisonment.
Fancy coats. And the cast of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Dang, Quinn knows how to pick 'em, huh? The Oscars 2025. You know, since Conan's hosting, there's a decent chance the show is actually watchable. Too bad the masturbating bear got canceled for, you know. Remember, you are one. Everyone deserves the chance to fly. May thy knife chip and shatter. Man to woman, from penis to vagina.